Well, hello there, Miss. Let's see, Rebecca. Is that Miss Rebecca? Hey, ordinary mommy of two. How are you? How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Is that Stevie? Stevie Ann? Stevie Ann? How are you? How are you doing this evening? Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Just waiting for some people to start coming on my other feed. How is everyone doing? Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, everybody. Hey, Forever My Flowers, how are you doing? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Tamika, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. I would wave back, but I look like a little nerd. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Hello, Margaret. How are you doing? Hello, Facebook user. Memphis in the house. Okay. Hey, Miss Deborah. How are you? Hello, Miss Karen. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Tiffany, how are you? JP Hawkins, Luscious, Sharon Smith, how are you? It's Alvera. Hi, Alvera. Hey, Caitlin, how are you? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. It's Delicia. Hopefully I said that right. Delicia. That's pretty. Hey, Detroit in the house. I have family in Detroit. Hey, Adrian. Hey, Jenny. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Joni. Hi, Wide Eyes. Wide Eyes Dana. How are you? Hey, Joni. How are you? Andrea, Arizona. I know it's like 8,000 degrees in Arizona, huh? Hey, Marie. Hey, Lori. How are you? Indiana. Okay, Indiana, I see you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, everybody. Forgive me, I'm not looking up in the camera. I'm looking down on my computer. Hey, there's Shanika from Relay. Hey, Riley. Riley. Is it Riley? Riley or Relay? Thank you so much for being here. Radiant Jewels by Rio. Okay. Okay. Sounds like you make jewelry. You make jewelries. Unique, one of a kind for life. All right, Chicago. Hey, Kim. Texas. What part of Texas, Pamela? 98. Oh, yeah, it's hot. Baltimore in the house. Okay. Hey, JP Hawkins, Baltimore. All right. Adrian, you're from Detroit too? Okay, I see. I see. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Well, happy fourth weekend to you too, Lytira. Hopefully I said that right. Corpus Christi, okay. Okay, I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas. Temple Hills, Maryland, okay. Philadelphia in the house. Hey, Mary Wilson. Philadelphia in the house. Forgive me if I'm repeating your names. I'm reading your comments and looking up at your names. I said it right, Latera. That's pretty. Houston, okay, Houston, I see you. That's Slaughter. Holly, Myrtle Beach. Okay. You sell fabulous pieces? Email me. Radiant Jewels. I love jewelry. I would love to wear some of your pieces. I love big, gaudy ones. Email me, Dr. Carmen Bryant at Outlook.com. Send me your link. Let me send your website so I can see what you sell. I would love to see some of your pieces. I love jewelry. Um, let's see who we have here. Knoxville, Tennessee. Okay. I love being AJ's mom. Oh, hey, Tina from New Jersey. And I know he loves you being his mom. Arisha, South Africa. Okay, Africa's in the house. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. California. All right. Virginia Beach. Hey, Crystal. 102 degrees and dry heat. Oh, yeah. I was stationed in Fort Hood and that's some dry heat. I never really had nosebleeds, but I did in that dry heat. Hair braider. Girl, Mary from Georgia. What part of Georgia you in, Mary? It's about staying there long enough. I will sure come to see you and get my hair braided before I go to Hawaii. Gigi, Temperance, Michigan. Okay. Barbara from Vestiva Hills, Alabama. Okay. How far is that from like Montgomery or Birmingham, Alabama? 103 degrees in Texas. Yeah, my daughter told me it was hot out there. Thank you so much. Let's see who we got here. Thank you, Radiant. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, Linda from Canada. Thank you for being here. Deanna from Willingott, North Carolina. Hopefully I didn't mess that up. New Jersey. Okay. Australia. Okay. Hey, Australia in the house. It's not too warm in Washington State. It's warm enough. I like it. I like it. I'm a Germany girl, so the weather here in Washington reminds me of Germany, but it's warm. It's not too cold right now. Let's see. Texas. All right, Texas. You have to excuse the noise outside. They're popping firecrackers out there. Thank you so much for being here. Atlanta. Girl, how come you're not coming to my conference? I need you to be at my conference, girl. I have a conference on July 30th in Atlanta, Georgia. You need to email me if you need me to send you an invoice, or go to overcomingnarcissistabuse.ticketleak.com, or send me an email and I'll send you an invoice. You need to come to my conference. If I was there long enough, let me think. I come in, I won't have time to get my hair braided. I got a lot of hair up under this wig. Girl, if I would have known, I would have flew in a day early so you can, or stayed a day later so you can braid my hair. I sure would have came and patronized your business. Let's see. I'm doing great. How you doing, Sally? Meridian, Mississippi. Shut your mouth. My best friend is in Meridian. I was in Gulfport, Biloxi. Well, Biloxi, Gulfport. I lived in Biloxi, then Gulfport. I used to work at the President Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi. All right, Meridian. Let's see. Ohio. Okay. Las Vegas. Okay, I see you. I see you. Oh, Wilmington. Girl, I said it right the first time then. Even though you misspelled it, I said it right. Milwaukee. Okay. Deanna, Atora, Joanne, Florida. Okay, Florida. Hello, Derek. How are you? Flying hair. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let me look up. Here we go. I was supposed to be in Atlanta this week. Will you ever come to Texas? I was in Dallas last year. So I was in Dallas, Texas last year. Hey, Brandon, how are you? Charlene, Michigan. Okay. Charlene from Michigan. Okay. Hey, Charlene. Virgin Islands. Okay. Hey. Never know. I might have to come through Virgin Islands. Let's see. Hello, Jonathan. How are you doing, sir? Thank you so much for being here. South Australia, Sharon. Okay. Thank you for being here. Phoenix. Okay, Phoenix, I see you. Let's see. Any guests over here on Instagram? So I'm just saying my salutations as we're waiting for some people to come in. South Australia. Go ahead, girl, from down under. Fayetteville, North Carolina. Okay. Hey, Robert, how are you doing, sir? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for being here. I got a lot going on in my head over this topic. And I want to have this great talk with you guys. So a lot of times I have these great talks in my head. So I have to focus before I come on. So sometimes it takes me a few minutes to get on as I get my thoughts together for you guys. But let's turn on Clubhouse. So those of you guys chiming in from Texas. Okay, Rebecca, thank you. Okay, yes, please. So you guys, let me turn on my Clubhouse. So those of you that may not know me, my name is Dr. Carmen Bryant. I'm the host of Overcoming Narcissistic Abuse. You're going to hear me say it again when I turn on Clubhouse. So those of you that have Clubhouse, just let me tell you guys what I usually do. What I do is I usually do some teaching I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I am on Twitter right now, I'm on YouTube and Restream. But Restream is the broadcast that puts it out on all the streams. And then I'll also open up Clubhouse. And so you guys are getting all the information at one time. And then what happens is when I am finished with my teaching, little teaching here, I open it up for a few questions, and then I move over to Clubhouse to my guests on Clubhouse if they would like to talk to me. So if you do have Clubhouse, you're welcome to come on over to Clubhouse at the same time. Hi, Anna Marie. Hey, Andrell, how are you? Hi, Sasha, how are you? You can come on over here to Clubhouse as well. I'm broadcasting from all of them. And like I said, I'll open it up for some questions. And then I'll come over here to Clubhouse so you guys can ask them some questions as well. And that's why I get to talk to my guests. So let me go ahead and start Clubhouse. Let's get the Clubhouse started and going. And you guys, let's see. So if you guys would like to join me over at Clubhouse, you're welcome to come join me over at Clubhouse. As you guys, okay, just be real. Hey, I didn't see you over on the other channels. Hey, just be real. After I'm finished this evening, I need to call you. I need to Apostle wants you to do something for us this Saturday, and I'll talk about it at the end of the broadcast. I'll talk about what's going on this Saturday. But we need your assistance. Just be real. So after I'm finished with on all the ports, I'm going to give you a call if that's okay with you. If that's okay, because I know it's kind of late in Texas where you at, but I need to call you after I'm finished. Okay. Well, hey there from Seattle. Hey, Danielle from Seattle. Well, thank you, Andrea. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hey, Allison and Karen, Michelle, Leslie, how are you guys doing? Okay, so it's not too late. It's okay. So thank you guys for being here. Hey, Miss Cassandra, I'm gonna wait just a few minutes for my clubhouse guests to come in real quick, okay? And then we're gonna get started. So let me wait just a minute for the clubhouse guests to come in and get my little focus together. Dallas, Erica, did you come? Did you come to my conference last year? The name doesn't sound familiar. I was in Dallas last year for my first annual conference. So those of you guys know I'll be. Hey, Mister, how are you? Mama Wolf, hey, from New York. Okay, you haven't seen me in a while. I was here last week. Hey, Renata, how are you? But thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for being here. Is that Riri Love? Hey, Riri Love, thank you for being here. Okay, you guys ready? You guys let me know you're ready. If you're ready, give me a thumbs up. I know while I'm asking the question is a little delayed. Dallas, Texas. Hey, Mr. Will Smith, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being here from Dallas. Hey, Nina, how are you? Let's see. Let's see. Iowa. Okay, Antoinette, I see you. Thank you for being here. All right, let's look and see. Okay, you guys ready? Nanette? So I know when I'm talking, it's a little delayed, so I have to wait for all the little thumbs to come up. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, give me just a second. Let me get my room back up. There we go. All right, ready? Okay. So what we're talking about tonight is dealing with fear and the narcissist. So we're going to be talking about dealing with fear and the narcissist. So because I had a whole dialogue going on right before I came in. So listen, so let's talk about fear. Okay. So those of you know, or you may not know, some of you do know, number one of the major goals for a narcissist is power and control. And power and control, a narcissist deals with your soul. Now, some of them are physical abusers. They deal with your soul. Now, I know a lot of people have different definitions as to what a soul is. But allow me, as many of you know, I am a Christian. I do confess being a believer of Christ. I do not try to force anybody into my belief system because I do understand that everybody has their own beliefs, has their own spirituality, whatever your belief is. But allow me to tell you from my perspective. So when you're dealing with a soul, it's just like psychology. I'm a licensed mental health counselor here in the state of Washington as well. And if you go look up the word psychology, psyche means soul, and it's the study of the soul. And when you're talking about the soul, you're talking about your mind, you're talking about your emotions, you're talking about your will, you are talking about your thought process. That's where the therapists get into your soul and they deal with your soul issues, right? Well, a narcissist, because they want power and control, they want control they want to be able to control your mind, your emotions, your reactions, because responses means that you have thought through something and you have provided a response after careful thought. Reactions mean just what it says. You're reacting to something without thought. And what that narcissist needs from you is your reactions, not thought out, your reactions. They want to control your mind, your emotions. They want to superimpose their own will on you. And many narcissists, of those of you that know, many narcissists are lost. So while they're trying to interject how you should act and the way that you should be, how can someone that is not in, it's like a leader. A leader has to be in a position to, first of all, we don't like hypocrites. So a leader needs to be in a position where he or she can lead people by example. A narcissist wants control. They want control and they want to lead you and they want to be a puppet master. But how do you lead someone if you're lost yourself? That means you walking in circles and I wouldn't let you lead me out of a paper bag. And so that's what a narcissist, this is the blind trying to blind you so that you can follow them going nowhere. But a narcissist's goal is to have control of your emotions, your mindset, your thought processes. And what they do is understand that when people think, when we think, we do not think in words, we think in imagery. Our brains are so unique that your brain assigns words to the imagery you see in your head. And that's where your speech comes out when you start talking. So a narcissist wants to interject their narratives. And what they do is they interject their own narratives, and then they listen to see what you say. It's like, it's gonna sound nasty when I say it's like a parasite that lays eggs, and then you incubate something that does not belong to you. And the only way that the parasite knows that whatever they have imparted in you is growing or is manifested or manifesting is by what comes out of your mouth, what you say. What you're saying is giving that narcissist proof that what they were doing to change your narratives, your thought process, or anything like that, when you start talking, it almost like solidifies what they have done or what they have said. To interject words, to interject in imagery is working because of what you're saying. And a lot of things, what you say is not even your own thoughts. It's someone else's thoughts that you have incubated. And now you're speaking somebody else's thought. I'm stupid. I'll never be able to make it. I never have anybody. I'm always going to be alone, because those are all the things that they've interjected. Now, the one biggest weapon that is used by a narcissist is fear. What they do is, a narcissist, when they are love bombing, a narcissist is not, we try to establish rapport. And so we start to establish rapport by talking to each other, getting to know each other, finding out each other's boundaries. A narcissist interrogates. They do not build rapport, they interrogate. And in that interrogation, it's just like a spy. What they're trying to find is the weak points in the structure. They're trying to find the weaknesses in you in order to use those weaknesses against you at one point in time. When you have terrorists coming to the United States, they're looking for the weak points within our national security, within our computer systems. They look for weak points in order to, it's like set up a terrorist cell, but they find weak points. And it's like that narcissist finds weak points in order to set up a terrorist cell. And then it's almost like they feed that in you so that later on it works in their favor. Now, when I say weaknesses, understand that all of us have vulnerabilities. That's why being in relationships requires you to be vulnerable, because you have to be vulnerable to the other person that you want to share your life with, whether it's healthy or whether it's unhealthy. We become vulnerable. The people that hurt you the most are the people that are the closest to you. Think about it. Your mother, your father, your sisters, your brothers, your children. Those are the people that you are most vulnerable with. And you're going to show a side to them, or they'll know things about you that the average person on the outside doesn't know. Well, a narcissist, that's what they work toward. They work toward finding your vulnerabilities, knowing your stories, knowing your fears, knowing your fears, knowing your hurts and pains. Well, for them, that is a weakness. And what they do with that weakness, they take those weaknesses, and what they do is, it's almost like a sedation. What they do is like interject a Valium, or they interject like anesthesia. Like they lull you, or they seduce you and lull you into let's say half consciousness. So it's like you're so drunk off of the love bombing because you've never felt this way before. But keep in mind, you're giving your enemy intel. You're giving your enemy intel about you, and they're taking that information and they're interjecting you with anesthesia or something to sedate you so that you are drunken off of this love bombing because you've never felt this way before. And while they're doing that, they're also painting imagery. They're saying things. And what they do is everybody is not afraid of a physical fight. And so for some narcissists, a physical fight may not be something that you're afraid of. You're not afraid. You're a fighter. Some of you guys are fighters. A narcissist may use your mind, words, manipulation, which is more powerful when they're changing imagery. There are some narcissists, well, almost all narcissists They're going to take your weaknesses, the things that you don't like. Some of you do not want to be alone. Please don't have side conversations while I'm in the middle of, when you're having side, just be real, please, let them know when you have a teacher that's teaching something, don't have a whole conversation that has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm talking about. That is very rude and very disrespectful. So please be respectful. Thank you so much. Okay. But remember that, and I hate that because it stops my train of thought for the people that are actually listening or waiting for me to say something. So who was that? Hold on just a minute. That is Robert. Please be respectful. Be mindful when you're on somebody else's live feed. Okay, you're having a whole conversation that has absolutely nothing to do with my conversation. So now, see, and I hate that because I hate to lose my train of thought because people are actually listening and wanting me to talk. Okay, where was I at? Remember that they lull you into this. It's almost like a trance. They love bomb you. They sedate you, and what they do is they find your weaknesses. They find your weak points. And what they do is some people have grown up in a home where they have been rejected, abandoned, mistreated. And so one of the young ladies that is on Apostle Helen Sadler, Your Destiny Helpers Monday broadcast, Miss Tasha Lilleman, she said that when you leave home hungry, you go into the world starving. There are some people that are starving for affection. There are some people that are starving for touch. There are some people that are starving just for a relationship or a conversation. There are people because they jump into relationships or situationships in desperation because they don't want to be alone. They don't like to be lonely. They want a relationship with someone that will love them. Well, number one, if you don't love yourself, because once you learn to love yourself, you set up boundaries, where people just can't step over your boundaries and handle you any kind of way. Well, a narcissist, and I'm gonna tell you, if you don't believe that they think like this, I'm gonna tell you, when I was doing some studies on pedophiles, they have, you can go listen to some YouTube channels, and it talks to those people that are predators, those that are pedophiles, that tell you how they hunt their prey. One gentleman in particular said that what he would do is he would his prey would be single women with children, and he would look to see what parent wasn't really attentive a lot to the children. And what he would do in a crowd, like at a baseball game, at a basketball game, whatever, he would get close to the child and put his hand on the child's back. And I said this on another broadcast. He would put his hands on the child's back. And what he would wait to see is if the child leans into the hand, meaning that they're desperate for affection. They're desperate for somebody's affection or touch. They want touch. So he would see if the child would lean into the hand. As opposed, he said, if the child would snatch away or turn around or say something like, stop touching me, he knew that that was not a good prey. So he would look for the ones that would lean into the touch. And then if they would lean into the touch, he would have conversation and look for the mother. And then he would pay attention to the dynamics between the mother and the child, and then of course he would play the hero. I'll spend time. He'll be the father that the child didn't have. The person, the fix-it person, the one that, and that's how he lured the prey. Well, if predators think like this when it comes to children, how do you think narcissists think when they prey on people in general? And that's male and female alike. How they prey on people, anyway. And what they do is they listen when you start talking, and most people start talking and telling all their business. Most people start talking and everything that's in your heart, you're telling entirely too much. I myself am a therapist. And so I have been trained, and I've been doing it for years, to listen to the nonverbal. I watch the body language. I watch the facial expression. I watch the eyes. I watch the, what is called, it's called oh my gosh. And I said this on another feed. I'll think of it in just a minute. Let me think. What is it called? It's the most it's the facial expressions that is not caught. It's it's like a muscle reaction to your actual thought that you don't realize is happening. That is happening. So you don't catch it. It's oh my gosh, somebody will give it to me in a minute. Somebody give it to me in a minute. But I watch for body language. I watch for nonverbal cues, nonverbal communication, how they talk to me. Do they lean forward when they're talking? Do they lean back? Yeah, it's not nonverbal. Micro. Thank you, Christy. Go ahead, girl. Hey, Christy. Yes, micro expressions. And so, just like, as a professional, I look for micro expressions. When someone is having a conversation, it might be the little cringe, like, and they don't realize that they did it, because that is a true connection to what they're thinking at that time. You can tell, and narcissists do it all the time, and when you call them out on it, they tell you you're crazy, like you didn't see it. But look for micro expressions, body language, nonverbal communication, how a person sits, how they're holding their hand, what they start doing when something tense happens. So if a therapist does that and they watch, because that is a part of their job, to analyze, to watch what the person is not saying to you while they're talking. Because a lot of times the therapist has to go beyond a person's verbal communication and have to go beyond to see what the person is not actually saying. Another thing, and I'm just giving you, if we do this, because it's manipulation, but it's for the purpose of helping a person, not for the negativity. But even when I explain to people about therapy, what I explain to them is just like if you have something going on in your body, you go to a doctor and they go from the least invasive to the most invasive means of treating something or treating an injury. What they may do is they're going to poke and prod, and as soon as you cringe, they know they hit something. A narcissist does the same thing. They poke and prod, and when you cringe, they know, okay, that's something that bothers them. That's something that invokes fear. That's something that rejection. How is their facial expression when they're talking to me? What are the micro expressions? Now, keep in mind, they're not saying this in their head. They're just observing how you react when you guys are having conversation. So do know that when you are talking to a narcissist, you are always under a microscope. But the biggest weapon that a narcissist uses is fear, because later on, as you guys have been in the relationship or situationship, they'll use the fear that they may leave. So you may hear them say things like, I don't have to stay here, because they already know one of the biggest fears that you have is being alone. You have to excuse me. Okay, but one of the biggest fears you may have is being alone. One of the biggest fears may be where the silent treatment. You hate the silent treatment, but you've already let them know, even with they throw out little things to see how you react and what bothers you the most. And however you react, they know to use that weapon of fear. And you may fear being the silent treatment. You hate the silent treatment. It bothers you. The fear of being alone, the fear of being rejected. They say things like, we can just get a divorce, or I don't have to be here. Anything that fear is their biggest tool. In order to recover from something like this, I tell everybody the same thing. You have to face your fears. And in therapy, you hear them say exposure therapy. What's the best way to get over fear? A lot of times is to being exposed to something that you fear the most. If it's a snake, now I don't like snakes. I used to be petrified of snakes. And when I was in the military, they didn't try to scare me, but they had a boa constrictor. And the guy was like, okay, the best way to get over your fear of snakes is to put the snake in your hand and just see what the snake feels like. And he put the snake in my hand. He allowed me to hold the snake's head. I held the snake's head and everything. And I felt what the snake felt like. And I thought it was just a slimy, but it's a muscle, and he was moving. I was like, yeah. So I wasn't super petrified. I just don't like snakes. I still won't ever like snakes. Am I super petrified? Not anymore. But you ain't gonna get in my house. We're not gonna do all that, right? But I'm not so afraid that I'm just gonna take off running and leave my kids in the car. I'm not gonna do all that. Plus my kids are older. They'll take off running too. So, but in therapy, it's called exposure therapy. And you expose yourself slowly to the thing that you fear the most. And with a narcissist, you've been in a situationship where you always walk on eggshells. You're always afraid of what's going to happen next. And they did that on purpose. And they scream, yell, and they've done it for so many years, almost like your nerves are fried. They did that on purpose. It's like being a prisoner of war, where they use fear tactics, the water torture method, use whatever to make sure that you are always afraid. So some of you guys wonder, why do I have PTSD? Well, we know why. Why do I have anxiety disorder? Why do I have panic disorders? You're being triggered. And a lot of times you're being triggered by what they have done or how they have done something. They'll do little things like you're sitting, like say you're sitting and you're watching a horror movie at night or something like that. They'll purposely, and they'll throw it off as a joke, like, I was just playing. See, you so sensitive. They may purposely do something like hit the walls or shake the couch all of a sudden to invoke the fear. And they think it's funny, and you're thinking like, he or she plays too much. They're doing that. If you're dealing with a narcissist, they do that on purpose. They do things to invoke fear. They do things like you're in your room and all of a sudden something's scratching. Or, they'll do little things that is just stupid. It makes you think like, what in the world are you thinking? What are you thinking? Why are you doing that? But they do little things like that. And now that you're aware of it, now you're thinking about, they did do some stupid stuff like scratch on the screen while you're in while you're in a dark house, or, just stupid stuff, but that's what they do. Their whole thing is to invoke fear. And a lot of you guys, you get anxious when you hear their car pull up. You start getting anxious when they come in the house because you don't know what's about to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. We go out in public. I don't know if this fool's going to act a fool. I don't know what they're going to do to embarrass me. You may be in fear of being embarrassed and humiliated in front of people. So they'll do things to force your hand so that it's like they threaten to humiliate you in front of people by the experiences that you've had. They get really loud, they embarrass you, they talk really loud. So you know that you'll go back in compliance because of the fact that that's what they use, because that's one of their biggest weapon is fear. Fear of, and they know it. Your fear of being alone, fear of being abandoned. That's why I emphasize, as I was saying before, I emphasize all the time, get into therapy. I tell you guys, go to betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen, and you'll get a 10% discount by using their services. And they will find a licensed therapist in your state that can provide you with therapy. And you have the option to ask questions and tell them what you are looking for. I'm looking for a therapist that specializes in trauma. I'm looking for a therapist that has understanding about narcissist abuse, domestic violence. Ask questions like that. But you get a 10% discount by using that link. That you got to get into therapy to address, but you have to get into therapy to address fears like that. You have to get into therapy to deal with the trauma. Now, I'm going to say this, and a lot of you guys may get upset. That's fine. That's not a problem. But we have to be honest about this. If you're still in the situation and you're going to look for a therapist, and I tell people this all the time, coach or therapist, if you're going to look for a therapist or a coach and you want them to help you and you're in the situation, there's nothing that I can do for you until you make up your mind as to what you want to do. Because the one thing that a therapist should not be doing, the one thing that I do not help you to cope and stay in the relationship with the narcissist. That is not the goal. You have to make up your mind as to what you want to do. I can provide you with resources. If you need, a shelter, if you need a shelter, a domestic violence advocate, a legal advocate, those are the things that will be provided to you. But if you're coming to therapy because you just want relief, there's nothing that I can do for you. There's nothing that a coach should be able to do for you because you haven't made up your mind as to what you want to do. If your choice is to stay there and you're going to therapy to ask a therapist to help you cope and to help you live with that narcissist, that's defeating the purpose of therapy. And for me personally, I usually tell people, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to assist you. You may have to find another therapist because I won't do it. I won't do it. You have to make up your mind as to what you want to do. And for some people, I know it's hard. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know how I'm going to do this. You have to make up your mind. There are all these free videos out there that is helping you about your situation. And the one thing that I say, and it may sound a little harsh, you can't come into therapy just complaining. You have the opportunity to change what you're complaining about. And if you continue to complain, but you're not wanting to leave, stop complaining and accept the fact that you're going to stay. This is how this person is. This is how this person is. They're not going to change. And so you just stop complaining, because you should never go to somebody just to, what's the word I'm looking for? To vomit and then think you're going to feel better. You're just giving them, you're giving them the problems, but you don't want to change. You don't want to change your situation. You don't want to leave. You just want to complain. And I did a video on that before. Some people don't want help. They just want to complain. So if you're going to complain about it all the time, know that you have the option and you have that opportunity to change your situation. And if you're going to complain, know that if you go somewhere, you're not going to just complain. You need to know that there's some ways that you can change. If you have no desire to change, stop complaining and accept your fate. Accept the fact that this person is never ever going to change. They're always going to be the same, and as they get older, they're just going to get worse. So you have to make a decision. And I know that's a harsh way of saying it, but you know I like to keep it real, y'all. You have to make a decision as to what you want to do, and listen to what's coming out of your mouth. But I can never get help. It never works for me. When you make up your mind to do something, trust me, doors will open up for you. If it has not registered and you're really not serious yet, and I understand that there's some people that have financial difficulties getting away. Now, if you're disabled, they have adult protective services. You know, if you have, situations in which you have children, they have domestic violence advocates. Some of those advocates also, especially here in the state of Washington, some of the advocates will also assist you if you need to get out and you need to hide. They will actually send you to I've helped somebody escape the abusive relationship with their children. Someone went and got them. They got on an airplane and they escaped out of the state. They got out of the state. Now she went back. Ain't nothing I can do for you after that. Went back. There ain't nothing I can do about that. And you know that the abuse is 10 times worse than it was in the beginning. 10 times worse than it was before. But there are agencies that will help you to escape your abusers. You never want to jump. If you have children, you're married, you have children, you don't want to just take your kids and leave, because a narcissist will use that against you in the court of law. And they'll say that you kidnapped the children. And then there's going to be a Amber Alert out there because you done took your kids and left. The best thing to do is get a support system, a domestic violence advocate, get the support group going. Make sure that a therapist is involved so they can document what is happening and how you're going to do it. So that when it comes back in court, it's documented that you had a domestic violence advocate assisting you to escape your situation. And so just remember, the biggest weapon that they use against you is the fear tactic. That is a fear tactic. That is a tactic that they use in order to not just overwhelm you, but it's almost like to use fear to take control, because they know that when people are in fear, people will do anything to get the fear to go away. They'll do anything to try to normalize the situation. Fear is very powerful, and a narcissist will use fear. That's one of their biggest weapon is fear. So hopefully this has helped you tonight. Let's go to some questions really quick, and then I'll come over here to Clubhouse. Please, when you ask questions, because of the fact that I had to study this and think about it, ask me some questions in reference to this. Let me know that you were listening or paying attention, because a lot of times people start asking questions has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm talking about. There are a lot of people that do come on, and they come on asking questions before I even start talking. And then you're waiting till I shut up so that you can ask the questions you were trying to ask. What's kind of disrespectful to the host? Don't do that to people. Because people come on here and they pour into you. They want to help people, because some people are really wanting to know what it is that the host is talking about. So if you can kind of stay focused on the topic, I would be so appreciative. But go ahead, ask me some questions. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Let's see. We got any questions? You are so welcome. Is that Aisha? Aisha? I hope I said that right. Aisha. You. Tina will be betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. That's the link that you will use. And when you use that link, they'll give you a 10% discount. And with that 10% discount, they will look for a therapist in your local area to connect you with in your local area, in your state. Because in order to get therapy from a therapist, they have to be licensed in your state. Let's see. Okay. I'm looking for questions, so hold on just a minute. You're welcome, Pamela. I appreciate you. It's BetterHelp, one word, .com/Dr. Carmen. Charlene, you said, where do I start to get out? First of all, you need to connect with a good support group. Find you a therapist and find you a domestic violence advocate. Those are the two people you go look for first when you're making plans to get out. And then you can find out from that advocate, do they have shelters available so that you can get out to help you with housing later on. And then they got support groups and therapists within when you have an agency that has like housing for people that are in domestic violence, they have support groups. They assist you with like job placement or skill set training in order to help you so that you can be autonomous, so you can go out there and support your own self and your kids. You're so welcome, Miss Tina. So welcome. um, Sabrina said, is it okay to confront a narcissist and tell them they are secretly recording a conversation you're having with them? And how do you handle false accusation? That might be something you're going to have to talk to a police officer about, because I know in a lot of states, it's not, you can't use it in a court of law unless the other person agrees to be recorded. So that is not my area of expertise, but I wouldn't confront them. No. You are so welcome, Ms. Antoinette. Thank you so much. Somebody say, get out quickly and quietly, be safe. Yes, everything that you do, you need to do it quietly. Every plan that you make, you need to do it quietly. Some of you guys are trying to hurt the narcissist, so you're telling your plans. Tell him or her your plans. Well, that just means that you want a reaction from them as well. You're not ready yet. Everything you do, you need to do it in stealth mode. Everything you need to do quietly. They tell you, even in domestic violence situations, put aside a bag, put aside some contact numbers, get yourself a PO box that they know nothing about, where you can start having your mail transferred over there. And don't let them know. Get you a separate bank account if you need to get a separate bank account, and have the mail sent to the PO box. Get you a list together of support groups, and get an advocate. Everything, whatever plans you're making, do it quietly. Do it quietly. The narc won't leave me alone. He sends me fake Facebook profiles, fake phone numbers with my area code. I just want him to stop. He lives in another country. I don't even react. Anna Marie, you can always change your number. You can always change your number and your Facebook. You can change the name where he doesn't know it's you, and don't post your profile picture, and make it private, only for the friends and family around you. You said, after you've left and the fear tactics no longer work, why do they apologize? Is it genuine? Nothing about the narcissist is genuine. That's a Hoover. So nothing about the narcissist is genuine. That is a Hoover. Thank you, LaDonna. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Yeah, get you a whole nother telephone. I know for some people that's a sacrifice, because you may have had that number for years and years and years and years, and that's understandable. But when you're trying to get out and you want some peace and quiet, you got to do what you got to do for your peace of mind. You get yourself another telephone, and when you make yourself a Facebook page, delete the old one, make yourself a new, your name is Anna Marie Bowles. You can be Lisa Marie Presley. Who knows? But don't put your profile picture up there. Put a picture up there, and then let your friends and family know, and make it private on Facebook, where nobody can get it. Nobody can see your pictures, and only your friends and family will know that that's you, and those are the only people you let on there. So there's no way he can get into your Facebook page if you don't invite him in there, and if it's not a public page. And there's nothing wrong with being private. Thank you so much. Lori said, great discussion for the disabled. You mentioned they have someone who will help them. Can you please mention who that is? If you are disabled, there is, in each state, they may call it something different. I know here in the state of Washington, it's called, just like you have Child Protective Services, CPS, they have Adult Protective Services too, APS here. So I don't know, you may have to call your state Department of Health, not the Department of Social Work Services. Here it's called the Department of Social and Health Services. And you may contact them when you look online for Adult Protective Services. If you're disabled, and you can report the abuse. And just like they come and get kids out of the house, they will also come to make sure, if you have a vulnerable adult, especially if you have a vulnerable adult that may be disabled, that you get some type of assistant to protect you. She, Radiant Jewel said, I started selling jewelry to get out. See, don't ever limit yourself as to what you can and cannot do. You be surprised at the gifts that you have inside of you and the things that you can do. You know, if you look around you, everything that you see, lights, cell phones, computers, airplanes, houses, it came from somebody's imagination. They were building houses at one time. It was bricks. Someone decided, hey, we need to insulate it so it won't be so cold inside the house. We can get away from the fireplace. And if you put electricity together, you know, so everything that ever was created came from a creative mind of a person. It doesn't matter if you think you're creative or not. There's something in you that is a moneymaker. There's something in you that you have that you can create. Because at one point in time, back in the 1600s, you know, think about it for a minute. If you didn't have a skill set, you weren't going to eat. You poor. You know, so either you going to raise corn, you know, sell chickens, sell eggs, make liquor, sew. You're going to do something in order to, you know, to survive. And so if they did it then, don't think that you can't do it now. You still can do it now. And this is the age of information. People are, you know, there are people are, they are purchasing information. They're spending good money on good information that will help them in a situation. Thank you, Just Be Real. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Hey, Deshaun, how are you? Well, let's start winding down so I can come over here to my clubhouse family for a few minutes. Let's see. You'd be surprised. You sell Mary Kay. You can make jewelry. Some people make some beautiful pieces, very creative. Make candles, make soaps. People started making soaps during the pandemic. During the pandemic, for a lot of people, it was very heartbreaking. And for a lot of people, they tapped in and found that they had talents they didn't know that they had. They had to find a way to make money, and they found a way to wait from home, to work from home and quit their jobs and actually begin businesses and stuff from home. You'd be surprised at what is inside of you. Don't ever let see a lot of people are living off of the narrative that the narcissist imparted. You know, stop taking ownership of the negativity that was imparted in you. Anna Marie, thank you. You are so welcome. You're so welcome. Don't underestimate yourself. How the young lady who was receiving disability, disabled, she was disabled, and she was able to purchase a home. You know, in the area that she lived, the living expenses are very low, so she was able to purchase a home. Well, what she did was is she used her very, very intelligent woman, very, very good in finances and businesses, very intelligent young woman. And what she did was she did not let the disability hold her down. And I told her, I said, be prepared. I said, as you become more creative, you know, eventually you are going to create and create wealth to take yourself off of disability. And, you know, it don't take but a few dollars to get you off of disability. But this young lady went and redecorated her home, got some home loans and redecorated her home and made it into an Airbnb. And she's already planning on buying her another house. And so don't underestimate what you can and cannot do. Do not underestimate what you can and cannot do. Let's see. When you show your confidence and be you, you'll be amazed. You will amaze yourself in the things that you can accomplish. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am, Tina. Yes, ma'am. Pamela said, yes, I started to train my mind not to listen to what he stated. I know who I am. Remember that a lot of times what you're hearing them do is they're projecting themselves on you. So they're telling you all their insecurities. They're telling you all the things that they're thinking of themselves, but they give it to you so that you will take ownership. And then you take ownership of how they feel about themselves. If you want to know what a narcissist is thinking, just let them talk. They'll tell you what they're thinking. They'll even tell you some of their plans, but they'll tell you how low their self-esteem is by the things that they accuse you of and the things that they do and say, you know, and they're telling you exactly what is on their mind. So don't accept that. That is not your thought. That is their thought. That is their thought, not yours. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me go over here to a clubhouse for a few minutes. I'm not going to be on very long, but come on over. If you are on Clubhouse, if you have Clubhouse, come on over here to Clubhouse. I appreciate all of you. Excuse me. I hope that you all have a beautiful and safe, excuse me, a safe, I was eating before I came on, a safe and beautiful 4th of July tomorrow. Be safe. Y'all don't go out there with your uncle and let him burn down your whole backyard. Make sure you got fire extinguishers and fire hoses back there. You know, everybody got that one uncle that think that he's the grill master, and then he end up burning your grass down. So you guys be safe tomorrow, okay? Now listen, got a conference coming up July 30th in Atlanta, Georgia. For those of you that can come out there, come on out there. You can go to overcomingnarcissistabuse.ticketleap.com and you can purchase a ticket. VIP is sold out. I still have general admission. And if you can't be there in person, come online. We got people on Zoom. And last year we had a whole bunch of people on Zoom. So if you can't be there in person, come on Zoom. And then if you need there's only a few more weeks. It's just the end of this month. You know, if you need me to send you an invoice where you can pay on it, you know, and if you want to be on Zoom, and you're going to be there for the whole conference from 7 breakfast time, from probably about 8 when we start till 5 o'clock. You'll see people like myself, Apostle Helen Sadler, your destiny helper, my big sister Kathy Gibson, my life is intentional, my sister Bridget Griffin, who is a domestic violence advocate. She works a lot in the court systems. My big brother Marcus Monroe, who used to be a part of you know, you hear this, you know, the high caliber or high, whatever it is, the high value man and everything. There's actually an organization that he talks about that he used to be a part of, and it's Narcissist Training Narcissists. But we're going to be talking about, and then of course you're going to see my sis Telsha Edenberg, Tasha Leelaman, because we're going to do the conference, and then at the end of the conference we're going to do that round table talk. So a lot of the stuff that you hear on Mondays when we do the round table talk, we're all going to be there to do the round table talk. So you don't want to miss it. Those people that are VIP will be escorted by limo to a nice restaurant. We're going to be bougie, and we're going to go to a nice restaurant, and we're going to hang out together where they can talk to us. They can ask us questions. You know, if you have our books, you're welcome to have your book signed when you come. So listen, if you can't be there in person, just come online. And then also my mother is having her conference in Honolulu, Hawaii from the 11th to the 16th. If you guys need tickets and you want to pay on the tickets, the conference tickets, email destinyhelper12s@gmail.com, and the business administration will send you an invoice so you can pay on it. You have to purchase your ticket to fly over there. And then if you go to Facebook, Into His Chambers Global Ministries, and hit the event tab, on there, the discussion tab has the hotel on there because you get a discounted rate for the hotel in Honolulu. It's the Queen Kapi'olani hotel in Honolulu. And so you got to pay for your flight, your hotel, and then your conference tickets. So you can email her at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. Business administration will send you an invoice if you need an invoice to make payments. If not, you can go to destinyhelper.ticketleap.com and purchase a ticket. Now, this Saturday, she's got 2 webinars that are coming up. The first webinar is at 9 to 12 Pacific Standard Time. So that's Central Standard Time is 9 to 11. So 11, and then Eastern Time is 12. It starts at 12. So the first one is Trauma Effects and Its Relief, $75, and it's from 9 to 12. So it's 3 hours. Then the next session is from 1 to 4, which is 1, 2, 3 Central Standard Time and 4 Eastern Time. And that one is the power of the empath. This is the second session from the first one. That one is also $75. So you got one morning session, which is I will be her guest for the Trauma Effects and Its Relief. And that is the first session, which is $75. And the second one is the Power of the Empath Part 2, which is $75. Email destinyhelper12s@gmail.com, and we'll send you an invoice for the webinar. And this is a webinar on Zoom. And then for Clubhouse, it is private only and is only for paid guests only. So you cannot just come on the Clubhouse and listen to this. You cannot come on Zoom and just listen. This is for paid guests only, paid and registered. So just email destinyhelper12s@gmail.com, and we'll send you an invoice. We're getting the Ticket Leap up if you just want to go and purchase it on Ticket Leap. So I have that up for you guys so you can purchase that on Ticket Leap. But those are the 2 webinars that are coming up July 9th, this Saturday. But I want to see you guys in Atlanta, Georgia. If you can make it out to Honolulu, Hawaii, make sure you go out there for her conference. But I would love to see you guys out there in Atlanta, Georgia. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to switch over to Clubhouse. You guys have a wonderful evening. Be safe. And remember, watch that uncle that goes down there and claim that he's a chef and burn down your whole backyard. Keep it safe. Keep out of water holes, and make sure you got a fire hydrant, not a fire extinguishers out there. And that one uncle that think that they can cook. So y'all be careful, okay? Love you guys. Have a wonderful evening and good